Continuing from the previous episode 1315. What is this Xiao Yan doing? Feng Yu's attack has actually killed a 2-star Dou Xian perfection level powerhouse. Many powerhouses outside the field watched the extremely exciting battle in the competitive mountain range, and Spider Lee couldn't help but speak. Tisk tisk. This Xiao Yan is really not easy. Suddenly, Feng Yu, who can force Feng Yu to use the bottom of the box. Mu Zhe shook his head and said, the power of Feng Yu's use of the power of blood to cast the space shuttle, even if it was him. He could only temporarily avoid his edge, not to mention that Xiao Yan, whose strength was only in the early stage of 2-star Dou Xian, obviously already had a stake in the outcome of the match. Do you need to make a move? Xiao Yan, this guy's identity background is not weak, he can't have an accident in our East Continent. Duan Tianfeng was also watching such a tyrannical attack from the two in the field, and immediately fell into contemplation. But just as Duan Tianfeng was contemplating, the attack inside the competitive mountain range was getting hotter. Xiao Yan, give up your resistance. If you admit defeat, you can still have a decent place to stay. Feng Yu said forcefully and breathlessly after his face turned pale after his strongest blow. Xiao Yan did not pay attention to Feng Yu, because he knew that Feng Yu also had absolute pride, so he would naturally wait for Xiao Yan to attack and condense. In the sky, at this moment, there is an extremely tyrannical power of space. However, as Xiao Yan completely activated his Dou Qigong technique and the ancient ruler of different fire, the energy of heaven and earth in the entire competitive mountain range became violent, and then the violent energy became more and more violent, and finally under the guidance of Xiao Yan, a trace of energy became the thick, pale red energy suddenly emerged from the void of the competitive mountain range, and finally wrapped around the ancient ruler of eternal fire in Xiao Yan's hand. This light red energy had just wrapped around the eternal fire eternal ancient ruler, and all of a sudden, gusts of wind emerged in the entire space, and these gusts could easily destroy the rocks and trees in the competitive mountain range at will. Until now, the faces of the strong people outside the arena have slowly become solemn. This guy, I'm afraid he is using a holy rank fighting skill. Spider Lee spoke slightly, and there was a hint of concern in his voice. Although Feng Yu's attack was also a holy rank, compared with Xiao Yan, there was still a gap. The fundamental reason was that Xiao Yan's fighting skills actually made the entire space become violent, and even absorbed the power in the entire space. Shabu shabu. Feng Yu's originally indomitable gaze finally became serious under Xiao Yan's tyrannical attack. Anyone could see that Xiao Yan's attack was definitely not simple. It's still a little bit. Xiao Yan forcibly endured the severe pain emanating from his body, then stared at the unusually thick pale red energy above the ancient ruler of eternal fire, and spit out a word. What a Xiao Yan! It didn't disappoint me. Let's end our last blow. After a while, a hearty laugh appeared on Feng Yu's face, with an unrivaled domineering aura that filled the entire space, bringing the atmosphere of the space to the extreme. The top 6, I'm going to make a decision. Xiao Yan snorted coldly, and then gently raised the ancient ruler of Yu Huo Heng, and a mysterious power suddenly filled out. Come on. Feng Yu smiled, his palm suddenly pinched where Xiao Yan was, and the silver space shuttle beside him burst out with an incomparable aura, and the space shuttle passed by. The space becomes distorted in an instant. The next moment, a substantive dazzling red energy suddenly gathered from all directions of the competitive mountain range in Xiao Yan's loud shout, and the dazzling fiery red Dou Qi in Xiao Yan's body also converged in an instant. Immediately, the flame energy in the eternal fire eternal ruler became extremely turbulent, and even the space around him collapsed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the next moment, the eternal fire eternal ruler in his hand was heavily tossed out. The silver space shuttle and Xiao Yan's red energy beams just poured out, and suddenly, in the entire space, an earth-shattering bang sounded. Bang bang bang. As soon as the two made contact, Xiao Yan's red energy beam instantly fell into the downwind, and slowly lost to the silver space shuttle. The space shuttle has been nourished by my blood and essence, and it is quite easy for the space element to deal with the fire element. This time, it's you who lost. Feng Yu looked at the attack on the field, her eyes turned red immediately, and the power of silver space continued to gather towards it, faintly breaking Xiao Yan's power signs. Hoo-hoo, it's really a tyrannical force, but it's almost there. Move the sky ruler, break it for me. Xiao Yan looked at the increasingly intense space shuttle, and immediately smiled lightly at the corner of his mouth. Then, where the two were fighting, Xiao Yan's fiery red energy suddenly turned into powder. And then condensed, a touch of mysterious runes, which was quite mysterious, formed a circular light curtain. The circular light curtain did not hesitate, and directly swallowed the entire space shuttle. Aware of this scene, Feng Yu spurted out a mouthful of blood, and his space shuttle was actually swallowed by Xiao Yan. Let's give you a taste of this great gift. Seeing Feng Yu's questioning face, Xiao Yan suddenly laughed grimly, and the fighting spirit in his body was like a tidal wave, staring into the space shuttle. Crash! After a while, the silver space shuttle split open from a certain void, and then slowly appeared. It's just that the power in the space shuttle at this time is not only the power of the dazzling space, but also the fighting spirit of the fire attribute was added by Xiao Yan. Impossible to deal with. Impossible. Feng Yu saw that his attack was actually swallowed by Xiao Yan and turned into a more powerful attack, roaring towards him. His figure burst out. At this time, he has no excess fighting spirit, so if he rashly confronts this attack, he will undoubtedly lose. Admit defeat, otherwise this attack is enough to kill you. Xiao Yan said slowly while standing in the sky. I lost. Feng Yu also looked at Xiao Yan with a hint of helplessness in his heart, because he could also sense that the current Xiao Yan was already at the end of the force. If he could persist any longer, Xiao Yan would definitely lose. Undoubtedly, but the power of this space shuttle is already clear, but at this time, it is impossible for me to resist. In the second round, Xiao Yan won. Just as Duan Tianfeng rushed into the competitive mountain range to announce the end, Xiao Yan's figure also fell from the sky in an instant. His face was pale, and his breath was sluggish. He's really a desperate guy. Duan Tianfeng quickly caught Xiao Yan's figure, and then his gentle strength kept nourishing him. Fair. Take Xiao Yan back to rest. There is nothing to do with him. Duan Tianfeng directly handed Xiao Yan over to Duo Qifei, and then continued to preside over the competition for the top 6. Then a group of strong people looked at the unconscious Xiao Yan and the pale Feng Yu, and their hearts were full of shock, because they all knew that this Xiao Yan was probably a more terrifying guy than Feng Yu. Continuing from the previous episode 1316. 3 days have passed since the top 6 matches ended, and the top 6 also belonged. They were Pastoral from the Mercenary Guild, Spider Lee from the Six Saints Religion, Blood Crystal from the Bloodcloth Sect, Zhou Mi from the Auction, and a rather mysterious powerhouse. Together with Xiao Yan, there were 6 people in total. The first stage of the competition has finally entered the final stage, which filled the entire Thunder World with an unusually hot smell. After all, the first place can only get the Thor Scroll, and the top 3 will be rewarded, so among the 6 people, there is no doubt that there is still a round of quite fiery battles. Among the 6 people, except for Xiao Yan, whose strength is only in the early stage of the 2 Star Dou Xian, the other 5 people are all 2 Star Dou Xian perfect. Underestimate him. After all, the arrogant man like Feng Yu who can compete with Mu Zhe is defeated in his hands. Tisk tisk. Xiao Yan was in a coma for 3 days. Since he fell into a coma, Du Qifei sent Xiao Yan back to his residence, so he has been in a coma. At that time, when I was fighting with Feng Yu, I rashly used the heaven-shifting ruler to divert the attack of Feng Yu's space shuttle, so as to add my own strength to form a tyrannical attack to counterattack. At that time, Feng Yu was also exhausted. In this realm, in the face of such a tyrannical attack, the only option is to admit defeat, but Xiao Yan is not easy to deal with. After all, the attack displayed by Feng Yu was extremely tyrannical. Of course, the heaven-shifting ruler will increase with Xiao Yan's strength, but Xiao Yan's ability to transfer the 2 Star Dou Xian's complete powerhouse's attack with the strength of the 2 Star Dou Xian in the early stage is still too much for himself. In the final analysis, Xiao's own strength is too weak. If his strength is in the middle or late stage of 2 Star Dou Xian, it should be much easier to deal with Feng Yu. Yep, what's the matter? Xiao Yan just opened his pupils and sat up from the bed. A hunger and soreness came out. Obviously, the battle with Feng Yu had almost exhausted his vindictive energy, leaving some hidden dangers. However, Xiao Yan found that there was something strange in his body. The fire attribute bucket core in his body actually became restless, and an uneasy energy permeated directly from the bucket core and easily swept the entire house. Soul power, seal. The next moment, Xiaoyan's face became joyful. Obviously, this scene was a sign of breakthrough for Xiaoyan. I never thought that fighting with Feng Yu would actually make me touch the threshold of the middle stage of the 2 Star Dou Xian. It can be considered a blessing in disguise. Xiaoyan smiled slightly, and then without hesitation, he closed his eyes and slowly controlled this violent force. It belongs to the core of the inner body. The promotion among Dou Xian is mainly the condensed training of Dou Xian, but every time a high-rank promotion is encountered between Dou Xian, it will attract Dou Xian tribulation. So this is also one of the main reasons for the rarity of strong and tyrannical fighting immortals. After all, the terrifying level of the immortal fighting tribulation, if it fails, I am afraid it will wipe out the robbers. Crash! The violent fire attribute energy diffused out, rendering the entire house up, but fortunately, with the isolation of Xiaoyan's soul power, none of these powers overflowed. Suck it for me. After Xiaoyan had everything ready, he slowly controlled the fire attribute bucket core and slowly inhaled the fighting energy into the bucket core. With such a majestic energy gathering and absorbing, Xiaoyan's energy was completely absorbed. The strength will also be a natural breakthrough to the middle stage of the 2-star fighting immortal. Obviously, this kind of absorption will take a long time, but fortunately, the battle for the top 3 will start in 10 days. Is Xiaoyan alright? In the pavilion not far from Xiaoyan's place of residence, 4 beautiful figures slowly stood in it. The 4 are sisters of the Yu family, Lu Qing and Du Qifei. The 4 of them are also considered to be related to Xiaoyan, and they are girls, so they are like-minded and naturally gathered together. After Xiaoyan fought with Feng Yu at the time, he passed out because he consumed too much vindictive energy. However, this guy is really beyond my expectations. He can actually defeat Feng Yu. You know, Feng Yu's strength is enough to rank in the top 3 of Licheng, and it was once known as competing with Mu Zhe. The terrifying existence below, I never imagined that it would be defeated by Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan is really a dark horse in this competition. Duo Qifei still had a rather surprised expression until now. Brother Xiaoyan is really amazing. Yu Wei nodded slightly when she heard this, obviously very happy for Xiaoyan's victory. The relationship between the 2 of you and Xiaoyan, it seems. There were only 4 people in the pavilion, and Lu Qing said slowly. Xiaoyan is the chief pharmacist of our Yu sect. Yu Ran was naturally clever and said skillfully. So it was. Hearing Yu Ran's words, Lu Qing's doubts were relieved, otherwise Lu Qing would have thought that Xiaoyan had an intimate relationship with their 2 daughters. The first stage of the competition is almost over. I don't know what ranking Xiaoyan can get. Du Qifei laughed. I think he is the first. Lu Qing also laughed. Sister Lu Qing, you seem to be quite confident in Xiaoyan. But the strength of the other 5 powerhouses should not be underestimated. They are not only successful with the 2-star fighting immortals, but they also fought against the powerhouses in the early stage of the 3-star fighting immortals without falling behind. Xiaoyan's odds of winning are probably very low. The details of the other 5 powerhouses are clear. Yu reading link to www.yukanshu.com. Although Xiaoyan's fighting strength is not bad, the gap in strength is too obvious. The best plan is for Xiaoyan to enter the top 3. As for the number 1, I am afraid there is no hope. What is the second stage of the competition? At the next moment, Lu Qing said slightly, obviously Du Qifei's identity is not bad. I'm afraid he knows something. We can try in the second stage, but the number of people who sign up for the second stage should be less, and the time to end should be very soon. Duo Qifei heard the words, slightly tilted his head and said, talking about the second stage at that time, even in her identity, there was a sense of powerlessness. Obviously, this second stage is not her strength. The number of applicants is small? Lu Qing suddenly wondered when he heard the words. Because the real highlight is in the third stage. Du Qifei laughed. The third stage, but I've always been restless recently, and it seems that some strange power is pouring into this place. Lu Qing shook his head slightly, apparently as a practitioner of light in the Holy See. She was quite sensitive to the power of darkness and evil. Even in this thunder world filled with incomparably terrifying thunder, it still made Lu Qing feel a rather unconfident aura. It should be an illusion. Our forged sword Thunder Valley and the realm are heavily defended, and nothing can happen. Dou Xian comforted. Hope so. Next, let's wait and see who will win the championship in the first stage of the competition. After speaking, the four girls were also discussing something vividly. Continuing from the previous episode 1317. 10 days are fleeting. In these 10 days, the 6 powerhouses can be described as closed doors, trying to retreat. After all, none of the 6 powerhouses entering the finals at this time is a fuel-efficient lamp. If they don't hurry up, they will lose miserably. Boom boom boom. Today is the event for the top 6 to advance to the top 3. I heard that among the top 6 this time, there are 5 2-star Dou Xian with complete strength, and unexpectedly, a guy whose strength is only in the early stage of 2-star also broke in. Real or fake? The guy in the early stage of the 2-star Dou Xian can also enter the top 6, so can I. Go. What do you know? Don't look at the strength of others in the early stage of the 2-star Dou Xian, but others have defeated the favorite Feng Yu who won the championship this time. If you underestimate him, I'm afraid. What? Feng Yu? Is that the one who is as famous as the pastoral song? In the barren arena, there were thousands of people, and some noisy voices continued to chat. Most of these figures are contestants who have already been eliminated, but now that the top 6 have advanced to the top 3, they will definitely be very exciting, so they came to watch in the deserted arena. Brother Feng, listening to the constant ridicule of the guys around, a Qian Ying spoke softly, for fear of making the men around him unhappy. Spider, it's okay. That Xiao Yan is very strong, and I always feel that he is deliberately hiding something. If you are against him, you must not be reckless. If you lose, it is better to admit defeat. Since Feng Yu was defeated by Xiao Yan at that time, it is impossible. The arrogance of the first life has also weakened, and no matter what others are, there is no anger. After all, if Xiao Yan hadn't held his last breath and didn't attack him directly, giving him time to admit defeat, Feng Yu had no doubt that he might have fallen under that terrifying attack. Where's Xiao Yan? Why didn't you see him? After a while, the figures of the 4 women slowly came to the front of the arena, but Xiao Yan was not found. At this time, in front of the arena, 6 seats specially prepared for the top 6 players appeared in everyone's sight. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. I just went to his residence, and it seems that he is still in retreat. Lu Qing shook his head slightly. They don't dare to interrupt the retreat of the Dou Xian strong, otherwise, if something happens, they won't be able to bear it. It doesn't matter. If Xiao Yan doesn't come in a while, I'll ask 5th brother to delay the game time. Dou Xian also had the temper of an eldest young lady, and said directly in her own way. Hey, today's arena is really lively. After a while, Duo Tianfeng brought a team of well-trained soldiers directly to the arena, and his voice filled the entire arena. The 3rd master is here. It looks like the game is about to start. Come on, come and leave. The top 6 advance to the top 3, come and bet. I buy madrigals, 10,000 gold coins. I'll buy Joe Mi, 20,000 gold coins. Shouting voices kept coming from somewhere in the arena. This kind of bet is naturally not within the management scope of Forge Blade Thunder Valley, so it was not blocked by Forge Tianfeng. Why didn't anyone buy Xiao Yan? The person in charge of the bet said depressedly. Who said no? I bought Xiao Yan, 1 million gold coins. Hearing this voice, Lu Qing immediately stretched out his long legs and walked directly towards the person in charge of the bet. A ring with a special pattern was thrown directly over it. It is indeed 1 million gold coins. Xiao Yan's odds are 1 to 100, hee. The person in charge of the bet gave a malicious smile. This guy Xiao Yan is lucky to be in the top 6. A guy in the early stage of 2-star Dou Xian can't be in the top 3, so in his opinion, Lu Qing's business is no different from a loss-making business. However, the person in charge of the bet was unexpected. It was precisely because of Lu Qing's 1 million gold coins that he almost bankrupted his family. The 3rd master, since everyone has arrived, it should be possible to start the battle of the top 3, right? Mu Zhe was at the front of the arena, and he casually glanced at Xiao Yan's position, but there was no Xiao Yan, and immediately said, Where's Xiao Yan? He seemed to realize that Xiao Yan had not arrived yet, so Duan Tianfeng frowned. The 3rd master, it's almost time to start, otherwise the stipulated time will pass. As for those who didn't show up, they just abstained. Joe Mi on the side said slightly, Oh, okay. I announce that the competition for the top 6 to advance to the top 3 will officially begin. Duan Tianfeng naturally couldn't break the rules for Xiao Yan alone. Let's start drawing lots, Duan Tianfeng said slowly. As soon as the voice fell, the 5 figures, 3 men and 2 women who were familiar with each other, began to draw lots. Pastoral to Spider Lee, Zhou Mi to the blood crystal. Seeing the 4 of them slowly revealing the note in their hands, the people present couldn't help but let out a rather pleasant cheer. Xiao Yan versus Heimu. The last man in black robe slowly stretched out his palm and decided the final match. The first game, Xiao Yan versus Heimu. Duan Tianfeng cast a glance, the voice just fell, and suddenly the entire arena was silent. This guy shouldn't be afraid and run away. After a while, Xiao Yan's figure still did not appear, and many people present had a strange thought. The third master, Xiao Yan, hasn't appeared for a long time, so let's announce it as soon as possible. Susu the man in black snorted coldly at Du Tianfeng, his voice quite gloomy. Hey, I've kept you all waiting. Just when Duan Tianfeng was about to announce, the void in front of the man in black suddenly split open, and then a familiar figure came into everyone's sight. Xiao Yan? Realizing this scene, the man in black who was closest to Xiao Yan was slightly startled. Obviously, there might be something on Xiao Yan's body, which made him quite frightened. Space fluctuations? Feng Yu on the side looked at the silver formation formed by Xiao Yan, and he smelled a rather familiar aura. Fortunately, there is a way to travel through space, otherwise, I really won't be able to catch up. It's not enough for you, there seems to be some familiar aura. Xiao Yan stared fiercely at the man in black in front of him, and a majestic fighting intent radiated out. This black man had a rather obscure evil aura. Although it was hidden very deeply, it was discovered by Xiao Yan. This guy's aura seems a little wrong. The middle stage of 2-star fighting immortals? Good boy. It turned out to be a breakthrough in retreat. Duan Tianfeng saw Xiao Yan's figure and immediately realized the reason why Xiao Yan was late. Since everyone has arrived, then the 2 of you. Please. Du Tianfeng's voice just fell, and the 2 figures suddenly turned into meteors and poured into the competitive mountain range. When the powerhouses outside the field saw this, they also opened their eyes one after another. They also wanted to know who the dark horse Xiao Yan and the most mysterious man in black would kill in the end. Continuing from the previous episode 1318. You 2, please come in. Duan Tianfeng said slowly to Xiao Yan and the mysterious man. Xiao Yan's identity and strength are naturally obvious to all, but that mysterious man has been very low-key since the beginning of the competition, but no matter how low-key, every time he encounters a tyrannical opponent, he will win, plus all kinds of things, hence his mysterious identity. This guy seems to have a rather strange aura. Lu Qing looked at the mysterious man shrouded in black robes and wondered whether it was because of the light element's foreknowledge of evil or intuition. There is no rule in the competition that one must show their true face, which undoubtedly protects the privacy of some guys whose faces are injured and cannot be revealed, but at the same time, it also gives such an unidentified guy a quite appropriate excuse. Strange. Duo Chifei heard the words, her beautiful eyes flickered slightly, but the countless people present did not notice that on Duo Chifei's wise forehead, a mysterious halo disappeared in a flash. This mysterious halo did not appear in the past. Today, I met this mysterious black-clothed man who just appeared for a moment, but it was engraved with a hungry breath, which was more tyrannical than anyone present today, like the honor of all ages. Unfathomable. Hey, this guy's background doesn't seem to be normal. The Soul Eater in Xiao Yan's body naturally noticed an abnormality in Du Chifei's body, but it was too far away to be sure. Xiao Yan and the men in black rushed into the competitive mountain range, and a monstrous aura suddenly filled the air. The late 2-star fighting immortals? With his tyrannical soul power, Xiao Yan sensed the aura of the man in black, but what made Xiao Yan quite difficult was that in the aura of the man in black, there was a faint hint of a breath like a soul clan. Are you Xiao Yan? The 2 of them did not stand in the sky this time, but on a rather empty flat ground in the competitive mountain range. The man in black spoke slightly. Who are you? Being asked this way, Xiao Yan also knew something, and immediately opened his mouth. It is said that you are the favored son of heaven on the Xuanling continent. Our Soul Clan sent 2 strong men to the Xuanling continent, but they disappeared strangely. I am afraid that this has nothing to do with you. The man in black spoke slowly. Sure enough, he is from the Soul Clan. Xiao Yan was immediately affirmed when the man in black said this, but the Soul Clan fighting immortal sent by the Soul Clan to the Xuanling continent was directly obliterated by the Xuanling king, so Xiaoyan naturally did not know about this. However, Xiaoyan is also surprised that this guy is so bright and really revealing his identity. Isn't he afraid of attracting others to chase and kill him? Never mind, arrest him first and inquire carefully. The next moment, Xiaoyan didn't talk nonsense with the man in black either, and the dazzling flames filled the air, causing the whole space to be filled with a sense of unease. The tricky fire attribute. But my mission this time is just you. The corners of the mouth of the man in black couldn't help twitching, and then the breath of the late two-star fighting immortals emerged instantly. The strange black chi and fiery red flame power just appeared, and the black chi was completely suppressed by the flame power. After all, black chi belongs to ghost chi, which is eerie, and the fire attribute is just its nemesis. Feeling the cold and murderous eyes under the black robe, Xiaoyan's heart sank, and then without hesitation, the dazzling flame power condensed into a fiery red dragon directly in front of him, whistling, and blasted at the man in black. Shoot away, Susu. Such a weak attack. Seeing Xiaoyan's attack, the man in black burst into a strange laugh, and then his sleeve robe swung viciously towards Xiaoyan, and there was a sudden burst of strange black mist, which quickly disappeared from it, emerged from the body, and finally formed a natural protective black mist around its body. Boom, boom, boom. Letting Xiaoyan's flaming dragon contain such tyrannical powers will not help. After a while, Xiaoyan's flaming dragon will dissipate away. On the other hand, the black mist of the man in black is dark. Extremely. Surrounded by black mist, the figure of the man in black instantly disappeared from Xiaoyan's field of vision. In an instant, the entire space became strange, with a gloomy wind blowing. The strange black mist kept squirming and expanding in the space, and after a while, it expanded to a range of several hundred meters, and the figure of the man in black also blended into it, making it difficult to detect. Drink! With a loud shout, Xiaoyan's eyes were bright, his figure bathed in flames, his fist suddenly smashed towards a void in the black mist. Boom, boom, boom! Xiaoyan's fist contained quite terrifying destructive power. Where the fist attacked, a black shadow slowly emerged from the black mist. The confrontation between the fist and the shadow caused two substantial ripples of fighting spirit. Spreading out in all directions, the battle between the two caused a loud noise in the black mist. Xiaoyan and the man in black were naturally indistinguishable, but the outside world caused waves of commotion. The black fog of the man in black is extremely strange. The two were shrouded in the black fog and almost disappeared from everyone's sight. Only Duo Tianfeng and a few two-star perfect powerhouses could barely see the attack of the two, which made them feel the man in black couldn't help but feel a little bit of awe. The identity and strength of this man in black. The owner of the valley wants to lay a long line and catch big fish, but I hope nothing goes wrong. Duo Tianfeng naturally knew the details of some people in black, but he didn't intervene too much. Boom, boom, boom. In the black fog, violent friction attacks continued to resound through the sky. No, I can't go on like this, otherwise this guy, I'm afraid. Xiaoyan felt a tinge of unease in his heart, and then stopped his movements. A dazzling fire attribute grudge burst out from the body. Because relying on Xiaoyan's intuition, the effect of this black fog is not only to strengthen the people in black in a similar field, but also to constantly eat away his grudge and even his soul power. Not good. Seeing this, the man in black exclaimed in surprise, and then whistled away at Xiaoyan. Break me! Xiaoyan didn't care about the 3721. Just as he released the Dou Qi from his body, he exploded directly in the black mist. Boom! An extremely bright fiery red fluctuation, like the afterglow before the end, was extraordinarily enchanting, and then slowly bloomed under the hated eyes of the man in black. Crash! The hot flame engulfed the black mist instantly, and the black mist also melted rapidly, revealing the original appearance of the earth. It's really a tricky guy. No wonder he's being missed by our Soul Clan's almighty. Just warming up, let's end it here. Although the man in black was angry, he still had his pride, as if today, no matter how hard Xiaoyan struggled, he couldn't escape from his palm. Are you finally going to use the real means? Seeing this, Xiaoyan felt a tinge of fervor in his heart. Obviously, Xiaoyan at this time, if he did everything he could, it would be a good idea to deal with the 3-star fighting immortals. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 1319. Little guy, be careful. Although this guy's strength is only in the late 2 Star Dou Xian stage, the Soul Clan has a lot of methods to deal with humans and soul bodies. If it is about the background, he is definitely not what you can deal with now, and must fight quickly. Soul Eater Lord Renren, he kept talking. Yes. Xiaoyan nodded lightly. Obviously he would not be soft-hearted or careless when dealing with the strong souls of the Soul Clan, and what the Soul Eater said was not unreasonable. Gulagulu. At the next moment, an extremely dark, eerie black aura appeared on the man in black, like a bright moon, and then poured into the sky under Xiaoyan's surprised eyes. Hoo! The black air just poured into the sky, and immediately completely enveloped the entire space, and a chill that poured into Xiaoyan's heart emerged. Susu. This time, you will die. Just as the black chi poured into the sky, it suddenly rolled into a tyrannical black cloud. In the black cloud, every beat made Xiaoyan's heart become a little more dignified. The fire is coming, Xiaoyan said in a deep voice, and did not dare to neglect. The fire attribute bucket core in his body instantly condensed a fiery red flame under the high-speed operation of Fenju, tightly wrapping Xiaoyan's entire body. It's just the brilliance of the firefly. 3-stage soul lock. The entire space was shrouded in black mist, so the figure of the man in black perched in the black cloud. With a loud shout, 3 incomparably dark and strange chains, with bursts of cold light, emerged from the black cloud and roared towards Xiaoyan. Above the chains, the small black runes seemed to have quite tyrannical power, and the space they passed through was faintly emitting a trace of restlessness. Wangchen refers to Wangchen Palm, 7th layer breaking the sky. It seemed that the man in black struck at will, but Xiaoyan knew the tyranny of the 3 chains, and immediately did not dare to hesitate. He cast it out and resisted the 3 chains of the man in black. Xiaoyan knew the tyranny of the 3 chains, so naturally this attack was just to delay time. Crash! As soon as the 2 powers touched each other, the sound of deafening energy explosions continued in an endless stream, and the entire space was filled with an unusually hot smell. Pick me up a foot! Before the 2 attacked, Xiaoyan suddenly slammed the ancient ruler of the fire, and he slid away from the palm of his hand. With a rather fierce wind, he shot the man in black above the sky. Go! Bang bang bang! Seeing Xiaoyan's fierce blow, the man in black snorted coldly, and suddenly a black thunder was emitted from the black clouds around him. Xiaoyan's Yuo Hang ancient ruler touched each other. Boom! The harsh metal friction sound continued to emanate from the ancient ruler of the eternal fire, but no matter how tyrannical the black thunderbolt of the man in black was, it was also intercepted under the ancient ruler of the eternal fire. It's not over yet. The man in black sneered, and the 3 chains instantly broke Xiaoyan's attack, and bursts of cold light were like poisonous snakes, attacking Xiaoyan from a very tricky angle. If this kind of tyrannical attack was hit, there is no need to doubt it. I am afraid that it would be as tyrannical as Xiaoyan, and it would also be weakened for a while. It seems that the victory and defeat are already divided. Xiaoyan, who does not have the eternal fire eternal ancient ruler, is no different from his bare hands at this time, and his combat effectiveness may be greatly reduced. The pastoral outside the field shook his head slightly. He has not been absent from Xiaoyan's battles these few times, so he naturally feels Xiaoyan's combat effectiveness. Strong and tyrannical has a lot to do with the ancient ruler of different fires. However, he didn't know that the ancient ruler of different fires had many mysterious effects of suppressing vindictiveness. Without the shackles of the ancient rulers of different fires, Xiao Yanfeng at this time was the real peak state. It's too much to look down on me. Xiao Yan sneered, and then just when the 3 chains were about to attack him with a fierce breath, the space around him suddenly squirmed, and then the next moment, Xiao Yan's figure disappeared out of thin air. What's going on? Looking at Xiao Yan who disappeared, the 3 chains also suddenly lost their target and dissipated in an instant, even causing the man in black's face to change greatly. Obviously, according to the information he had, Xiao Yan just cast this kind of attack. There is no record of fighting skills. Are you looking for me? The man in black looked around anxiously in the dark cloud, and then the space in the dark cloud wiggled slightly, and then a rather terrifying breath filled the air. This breath was undoubtedly several times more tyrannical than the previous Xiao Yan. Get out of here! With a loud shout, Xiao Yan, who had just appeared, hit the man in black with a heavy punch. Peefed. The man in black naturally didn't expect Xiao Yan to travel in a short distance, so he didn't have the slightest defense, and was directly punched by Xiao Yan at such a close distance. The huge destructive force and impact made his figure face instantly fly upside down on the ground. Bastard. The man in black was hit so hard by Xiao Yan that his figure smashed a pit that was dozens of meters deep on the ground, and even the black robe covering his body became shattered. You forced me. Soul Sky Lock. Standing up, he looked at Xiao Yan in the sky with a livid face. The man in black couldn't help but his breath became gloomy. Crash. As soon as the black-clothed man's voice fell, a red chain several meters in size slowly appeared on the surface of the black-clothed man's body. The red chain is quite small, and the blood-colored runes on it are even smaller, but also more delicate. There is a vague sense of unease that makes Xiao Yan's scalp tingle. Peefed. When the red chain appeared, Xiao Yan clearly felt that his soul power was faintly showing a hint of fear. The fourth finger of the sky and the second finger. Break the sky! A majestic voice filled with Xiao Yan's whole body with an unquestionable monstrous aura. He lifted his finger slightly, and then a dazzling ray of light that condensed Xiao Yan's whole body would face the man in black on the ground. It's good to come. Let us decide the outcome with one move. Soul Heaven Lock, the power to lock the soul. Suppress me. Su. Seeing Xiao Yan also unleashing such a tyrannical attack, the man in black laughed wildly, without the slightest fear. The red chains on his body suddenly burst out with a terrifying aura, and the sharp part of the chains carried bursts of terror like poison. The fluctuations went towards Xiao Yan, and it was astonishing that Xiao Yan was completely locked. Four fingers in the sky. Break through the sky. Break it for me. Xiao Yan also snorted coldly, locked the man in black at a height below zero, and then slowly raised his fingers, like a giant Buddha hoping that Hengu would not fall down, and gently tapped at the man in black on the ground. Shabu. A giant finger of 100 meters of light, with incomparable terrifying energy, suddenly attacked the red chain that contained the aura of annihilation. Boom! A violent force shook the entire competitive mountain range. These two guys are really two monsters. Watching the two of them fighting so fiercely on the field, Duo Tianfeng couldn't help but become nervous. Xiao Yan, I hope you don't disappoint us. Once Xiao Yan was defeated, the man in black must take action.